Chapter 4, Mishnah 7. The Mishnah continues to discuss cases where a nega had two signs of tumah and one of them went away. If a beharis had both the sign of tumah of a patch of healthy skin and the sign of tumah of spreading, and then the patch of healthy skin went away, that is, it turned the color of the nega is still tameh because of the spreading. Similarly, if the spreading went away, i.e. the nega shrank back to its original size, but the patch of healthy skin remained, the nega is still tameh because of the patch of healthy skin. The same applies to a nega that had both white hair and spreading. If the white hair went away, the nega is still tameh because of the spreading, and if the spreading went away, the nega is still tameh because of the white hair. The remainder of this Mishnah and the next three Mishnahs discuss Negaim that underwent certain changes, either in color or in size. There are three possible laws that can apply to a nega after its change. 1. It can be considered a continuation of the original nega, and the confinement process continues with no change. 2. It can be considered a totally new nega, in which case the confinement process begins anew. Or 3. It can be considered a nega that is spread, in which case the Kohen will confirm it tameh. In each of the cases listed by the Mishnah will state which one of these three apply. If a nega went away during the week of confinement and then returned at the end of the week, the nega is considered to have stayed the same and is not considered a new nega. Since the nega returned to its original place, we ignore the disappearance and consider the nega to be the same as before. But if the nega returned only after the Kohen declared it tahor, that is, the nega did not reappear at the end of the week, and the Kohen therefore declared it tahor, and then after the Kohen's declaration the nega reappeared, it is to be examined by the Kohen as in the beginning, i.e. like a new nega. Once the nega went away and the Kohen declared it tahor, the original nega is gone. Therefore, even if a new nega now reappears in the same spot, it is considered a new nega. The Mishnah discusses a case where the nega changed from one shade of white to another. If the color of the nega was bright white when the Kohen first examined it, and it became dull white during the first week of confinement, or if it was dull white at the beginning and then became bright white during the first week of confinement, the nega is considered the same as it was before. The weakening or strengthening of color is disregarded, and the nega is considered unchanged. Thus, the confinement continues for another week. The Mishnah cites a limitation to its ruling regarding a nega that changed from bright white to dull white. However, this applies only as long as the nega does not become less bright than the 4 shades of white of a skin nega. But if the color of the nega became less bright than those shades, i.e. it is duller than the color of an egg membrane, it is not considered saras, and it is tahor. The Mishnah discusses a case where a nega became smaller or larger, and then returned to its original size. If a nega, which was the size of a gris, became smaller, and then grew back to its original size at the end of the week of confinement, or it grew in size and then became smaller, decreasing back to its original size at the end of the week, Rabbi Akiva rules the nega tameh, but the sages rule it tahor, i.e. not confirmed, since it ends up being the same size.